Hello once again, folks. So I thought I'd do another future layout plan video because I've been tinkering around with ideas in AnyRail. You could sit forever playing around with different plans and different ideas and all the possible permutations of what you could do in your available space. But I think this will be the last video on this for a bit. Probably until I come to actually do the build at least. No matter what you do, what I include or exclude, or how simple or how complex I make this future layout, I know at some point I'm probably going to, at some point in the future, I'm probably going to wish I'd done something I didn't do, or wish I'd done something differently or whatever. So you really can't, you can't account for absolutely everything. And there comes a point where you've just got to think, stuff it, and get on with it. Thanks again to everyone who's commented on the previous videos on this with all sorts of suggestions and observations. It's been very helpful to get others' opinions, and quite a few people have sent me any real plans based on my available space. Mostly quite complex ones, to be honest. Really just kind of demonstrating what you could possibly fit in the space. But very interesting to see what other people's ideas on this, and it's really shown how different people approach a layout differently, which is all good and quite interesting. Okay, let's jump into AnyRail and I'll show you revisions 7, 8 and 9 of my proposed future layout. Okay, so this was revision 6. This is the last version of the plan that I showed in the previous video on this. I quite like this, but I was aware I only had one link between the two main loops. I needed another one, so I could move a train from one loop to the other in either direction. Now, I've got these two lines going into the turntable here, which I thought that was quite good, being able to come in and out of the turntable from either loop. But I thought I really need to do that. So let's look at revision 7. So I've taken one of these lines away, so I'm only going into the turntable from the inner loop, and we've got another connection between the two loops there. So at first I thought, yeah, I think this is probably it. I think this does everything I want it to do. Now I went back into the room and I had a bit of a measure about how it was all going to work, and yeah, it all seems to fit fine. I do have a wee bit more room here to play with, but what I wasn't happy with was this corner. This baseboard was starting to get a bit wide, and that was really to facilitate the turntable. And also I thought, I've not really got many sidings in here, and it just seems a wee bit busy in here. So I thought, let's strip this back to basics. Let's just simplify it down and see if I can come up with something a little bit different. Just more out of curiosity, but I really wanted to increase my working area and not have baseboards that were too wide. So let's look at revision 8. So this is revision 8, and you can see it's quite different. We've lost the turntable. I've reduced the board, the working area of the boards. Got some more sidings in. But really what I was trying to do here was to incorporate express points or streamline points. Because using those does completely change the geometry of things, and I just wanted to see what was possible using those. And this is what I came up with. I wasn't really serious about this layout, but it was really just to demonstrate what I could do if I was using express points. These are standard points here, but everything else is an express point apart from that one there. That's a curved point. But I think this is all a little bit ugly up here. But yeah, it's a possibility, and that would be my engine shed siding there, and have platforms there and there, so quite a bit of space for modelling scenery and stuff. But it kind of got me thinking, take the turntable out. As nice as it would be to have the turntable, taking the turntable out and not bothering about express points, just going with standard points, really gives me a lot more options. So I had another think, and this is layout number 9. So in this one we're back to standard points, and you can see there's still no turntable, but I've kept my baseboard sizes down, changed the shape of this one here, So let's have a look at what we're doing here. We've got the outer loop going clockwise as we had before, and that can branch off up here and go around there. The inner loop can go around there, but can also come up round through this line here. We've got sidings here, sidings there, and two sidings there and a siding there. Now you're probably thinking, why have I got this gap? Why not just have that running right through? Well, I thought, well, if that's my engine shed siding, it's then going through across the diamond crossing out onto the outer loop in a clockwise direction. These sidings go out onto the inner loop in an anti-clockwise direction. So I thought it was quite good in this area to have sidings going out in the right direction onto each loop. So I could have an engine shed there, and I could have a double engine shed here. I have platform in there and in there, and I've still got quite a bit of space for modelling stuff. So I still plan this to be the viaduct here. Goods shed would probably go there. Having this off at an angle just gives me a bit more space either side of the goods shed. I think there'll probably still be a very thin platform here and there. I'm not going to do the tunnel idea. I did think about the tunnel, but again, as soon as you introduce a tunnel, you're adding a lot of complications. It's got to be removable. And bearing in mind I want this entire layout to be removable, I just thought, no, because to have the tunnel, I couldn't have the sidings like that. And really, by the time you come round here and start entering the tunnel, it's not long enough. If I didn't have this chimney wall here, then that certainly would have been a possibility. Would have had a nice long tunnel for trains to disappear in on the shuttle. But as it is, they're not really, I've not really got enough space to do that. So I really like this layout. I've been sitting, sort of running trains around it in my mind. And one thing I always like to do is to run a single train and just change the points, so I can run it around different routes. And that gives me a lot of options here, around the outer loop, and then up here, I come down there, I can run it round, change the points again, I can come into the inner loop, round, like so, and I can come back onto the outer loop, or I could run round here. So if I just run a single train, I've got lots of routing options. But this idea of having these sidings, this one going out into the outer loop in a clockwise direction, and these ones going in an anti-clockwise direction to the inner loop, I really quite like that idea. So, something I've had to take into account that maybe other people wouldn't do is how this is going to look when I'm making videos, how it's going to work when I'm testing locomotives after they've been repaired and stuff. And I think this layout, it really lends itself towards both of those considerations. I can run a train out from here, and even with this is off, because this is something that will happen. I'm going to be in and out the room testing it, so I'm not wanting to be lifting this on and off all the time. So a lot of the time this won't be here. So I can run a train out, stop it, run it that way, all the way around there, and stop it, run it back again, just to test it. Run it down to here and run it right round there like that, to test it. So there's a good bit of running possibility there without that section being in place. But obviously when I'm doing videos of actual running sessions, this piece will be in place. And I think that, this layout will give me lots of options. We've got this nice long straight. We're going to have the viaduct here, coming through the station there. I think there's a nice variety. So yeah, I'm quite liking this layout. So I'm going to stick with this for a while. I'll revisit it when I actually come to do the work. I'm still thinking that's probably going to be early next year when I start to demolish the existing layout. We'll get Christmas and all that nonsense out of the way, and then I think we'll start on it. But this is the one, I think, when I've sat and thought through it, that I see the fewest flaws with in how I operate a model railway. As I've found with all the suggestions, and people have emailed me all sorts of stuff, everybody approaches this slightly differently, which is very interesting actually, just how different people would approach this. Because I'm quite sure there's people watching this going, no, you can't get rid of the turntable, don't do that, but a turntable to me is a little bit of a gimmick, because you can only turn the locomotive around, you can't turn the train around, so you're still going to have to, take a guard's van off and stick it on the end, or take a brake car off and put it the other way. It doesn't eliminate having to manhandle all your trains. So, I'm not really that bothered about a turntable. It could actually be squeezed in. I mean, I think it would be possible to put one down here. And it's the kind of thing we'll see once it's built. We'll see what scope there is. I absolutely guarantee once I've built it, I'll change something. Something will happen. I'll find that maybe, for example, I don't really use this route here. I thought, well, I'll just never use that now. So maybe this could come out. Maybe one of these sidings could come out. We could do something else up here or whatever. So, there's always scope for change. But I think, the best thing to do is to start off fairly simplistically. What are your actual basic minimum requirements for that you want for your model railway? For me, it was 2 train continuous running over as long a route as possible, end-to-end shuttle, and some sidings, and that's really it. And as many a couple of good long straights. Anything on top of that is just a bonus. So we'll see how it goes, but at the moment, this is the layout that I'm thinking, this is the one I think I'm probably going to build, or something very close to it anyway. But by all means, let me know what you think. I probably won't do another one of these videos for a wee while, till we're actually closer to doing the demolition work and then the rebuild. Right, okay, we'll go back and look at some trains. So there we are, folks. That's where we are with the future layout idea. As I say, probably no more videos on this until I actually come to start doing the work. Sometime next month probably I'll start demolishing this. Well, I'll try and video some of that. I mean, it's going to be pretty boring just pulling trees out and chopping things in boxes. But I think once we get down to the bare bones of it and really start to take this apart, you'll maybe get an idea how it was put together more, and how I'm going to build the new one. So I'll try and do it more or less the same way. But thanks for all the comments again, and by all means let me know what you think of that version 9 of the layout plans. Next video is either going to be a donation overhaul or a repair video. It's probably more likely going to be a donation overhaul. I am in the middle of doing a repair request, but I've had to order parts, and I think because of the postal strike and stuff, a couple of parts have just never turned up. I've had to chase the eBay seller up, still not heard from them, so I'm probably going to have to do a claim through PayPal or whatever. So I'm going to have to order more. So this repair is just taking a long time just because of a struggle to get the parts, which is very frustrating. I've not really had this problem before. As much as possible, I like to buy parts from Peter Spares because he always delivers very, very quickly. Some eBay sellers, send stuff by second-class post, and they don't post it for a few days, so sometimes a week or so before you get it. But in this case, they just seem to have disappeared. So, anyway, right, okay. I'll catch you later, folks.